Okay, let's unpack this. You know that feeling, right? That spark when you get a new idea, a goal you're suddenly buzzing about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your first thought is often, I've got to share this, tell friends, maybe post it somewhere.
Yeah.
But have you ever stopped to wonder if maybe that impulse, that very urge to share, might actually take the wind out of your sails?
It's a really fascinating paradox, isn't it? This idea that sharing something positive, like our hopes, our plans, could somehow hold us back.
Right.
So today, we're really diving deep into this concept, the potential power, of keeping your plans a bit closer to your chest.
Yep.
It's a perspective that Jim Rohn really brought into focus.
Exactly. We've been looking at his video, I think it's called Never Tell People What You Do. And it genuinely got me thinking about the psychology behind it all.
Yeah, me too.
Why do we share?
Hmm.
Is that immediate broadcast always helping us?
And that's why this is so relevant for you listening right now. Maybe you're dreaming up a new business or starting a personal growth kick, or maybe you're just curious about, well, what makes people succeed?
Uh-huh.
Understanding this dynamic could be incredibly useful. Think of this deep dive as maybe a shortcut to some, potentially game-changing insights about hitting your goals.
Okay. So our mission here is to really get under the skin of this idea.
Yeah.
Why can keeping plans private be beneficial? And crucially, how can we actually use this wisdom in our own lives?
So where do we start? Maybe with that initial urge. Why do we feel this almost automatic need to announce everything? What's driving that, do you think?
Well, thinking about it,
Hmm.
there's definitely a piece about wanting some early recognition, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
a bit of applause before the curtain even goes up,
Sure, that makes sense.
and probably validation, too. You want to hear others say, yeah, great idea.
Mm-hmm. Get that confirmation.
And plus just the sheer excitement, something new is happening, and
Oh.
you naturally want to share that positive energy.
But it's interesting how that very act, the sharing, can sometimes sort of dilute the drive. It's a puzzle. The more we talk about what we intend to do, the less maybe internal fuel we have left to actually do it.
It's like that initial burst just
Yeah.
fades somehow. Ron talks about it like releasing the fire that propels you.
Oh, I like that.
Think about a fire in a contained furnace,
Mm.
right? Generating intense heat
Mm.
versus flames just scattered by the wind, they lose their power.
That's a great analogy. And it connects right into this idea of the illusion of progress.
Right.
Say you announce, okay, I'm launching a new online store, or my big goal is to run a marathon this year.
Right. Big pronouncements.
What happens next? Usually you get encouraging words, people nod supportively, you get that positive social feedback.
Absolutely. And it feels good, right? Like instantly rewarding.
And that's the subtle danger creeping in. Our minds can sometimes mistake that external nod, that validation, for actual progress. The mental pat on the back tricks the brain almost into thinking we're further along. The reward comes too early.
Ah, okay. So the urgency might drop off. That inner fire dims a bit because we've already tasted some of that positive feeling.
Precisely.
Even though we haven't done the hard yards yet, our brain gets a premature hit of accomplishment.
Exactly right. And that's how these really well-intentioned goals can just lose steam before they even get properly started. But it's not just about our internal drive, is it? There's the external stuff, too, what Ron called the cold winds of doubt, criticism, and distraction.
Oh, yeah, the dream squashers. Even if people aren't trying to be negative,
Right. Often they aren't.
their questions, their maybe unintentional skepticism, or even just well-meaning worries, they can really chip away at your own confidence, can't they?
It's that unintended impact that's key here. It can plant little seeds of uncertainty, maybe lead to self-doubt, make you question if your plan was solid in the first place. Which brings up a good point. Does this mean we should just never tell anyone anything? Become a total hermit?
No, definitely not. That's the crucial nuance, isn't it? It's not about total secrecy. The advice isn't never share, but be really strategic, discerning about when you share, what you share, and who you share it with.
Yeah, connecting this back, it's about creating a protected space, like a bubble, for your vision to grow, especially when it's new and fragile. Maybe you share selectively with people you know are genuinely supportive, constructive mentors perhaps, or very close friends.
And even
Even then, maybe keep the details a bit high level at first.
like shielding a tiny sprout from a storm. And that leads to this other interesting idea, the power of surprise. Instead of drip-feeding updates, imagine the impact of just unveiling the finished thing, the completed project, the goal achieved.
Oh, the effect of that is so much greater, isn't it?
Yeah.
Action, when it finally speaks after silence, it just carries so much more weight. It makes a bigger splash. Like Jim Rohn said, action is always more impressive than words. It just lands differently.
He tells those contrasting stories, too, which really illustrate it, like the young guy who talked constantly, enthusiastically about his big business plans.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But months, then years passed. Nothing happened. People started to doubt him, and you could see he even started doubting himself.
It's a perfect example of how talking too much too soon can kill credibility and just drain your own momentum. And then the flip side, the quiet farmer.
Right, the one who just got on with it. Didn't boast about his planting strategies or expected yield.
Focused on the work.
And then, come harvest time, boom. Everyone was amazed by the sheer quality and quantity. He was working when no one was watching, as Rowan put it.
And that really highlights the benefits, doesn't it? When you keep things quieter, you have more time and energy for the doing, you rely less on external cheers, which builds internal resilience,
Yeah.
and ultimately you control the narrative much more effectively.
It's about cutting out the noise, maybe. All those external opinions, the distractions, the unsolicited advice that just floods in the second you open up about a dream.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
And it can even pull you off course from your original vision.
That's where his greenhouse analogy really clicks for me. Keeping plans private, initially at least, creates that protected space. Like a greenhouse for your ideas to germinate, get stronger, without harsh weather interfering.
And momentum. That's another key thing Ron stresses, how crucial momentum is.
Absolutely vital.
And how it thrives in focused action, often best done quietly. When your energy is going into doing, not explaining, you build this powerful rhythm.
Precisely. Talking about it too early breaks that rhythm. Your focus shifts, doesn't it? From creation and progress to justification and seeking nods of approval. Every minute explaining is a minute not doing.
The book writing examples he used really hit home for me. Remember the friend who just quietly committed, wrote consistently, day in, day out, no big announcements,
Head down.
and then just surprised everyone, here's my finished manuscript.
That story is such a great demo of quiet, consistent effort leading to something real, tangible. And the stark contrast with the other friend, the one always talking about his amazing book idea, sharing outlines, asking for feedback constantly, and never actually finished the book.
Exactly. All that energy went into the talking about it, seeking approval, getting input, not the actual writing.
It really shows how action builds confidence, doesn't it? Every small step you complete quietly builds self-belief, while too much talk can sometimes mask, well, hesitation, or maybe even fear of starting.
And it's important to distinguish this from just being secretive, right? It's not about being aloof or distrustful.
Not at all. It's about strategic discretion. Consciously protecting your focus, recognizing that your early stage dreams are valuable and kind of precious, fragile even.
It's like that gardening analogy again. You plant seeds. You don't invite the whole neighborhood over to inspect the bare earth, do you?
No, you don't.
You nurture them, protect them, wait until there's actually something growing, something substantial to show.
And operating more quietly gives you this amazing freedom. Freedom from external expectations. You can experiment, maybe stumble, learn from mistakes without feeling like you're performing on a public stage or facing judgment.
Which in turn helps you connect more with your own intuition, yeah. When you're not constantly looking outside for the, am I doing okay signal.
Right.
You learn to trust your own gut feeling, your own judgment much more deeply.
That's a huge advantage. And look, feedback is valuable, obviously. But it's about timing. Getting input after you've made real, tangible progress and getting it from the right people, trusted, knowledgeable sources, that's productive.
Total different from soliciting opinions when it's just a half-baked idea.
Exactly.
The story of the two businessmen also drove this home. The really creative guy, ideas overflowing,
The idea, man.
but he couldn't help sharing them too soon, and often saw other people run with his concepts before he did.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a tough lesson. How spilling the beans too early can literally give your advantage away. And then the contrast, the quieter guy, more focused on execution. His results consistently impressed because they just appeared. Accomplishment spoke for itself, no prior hype needed.
It really hammers home that point. Results are the best advertisement. Significant achievements, they naturally draw attention. They have way more impact than just talking about what you plan to achieve.
Absolutely. And let's not forget focus, plain old focus. Sharing plans widely, even with the best intentions, it just invites distractions. It can pull your energy, your mental bandwidth away from the main goal.
Focus is such a precious resource.
It really is. And being selective about who knows your plans is a powerful way to guard it.
Makes you think, doesn't it? As a thought experiment, what if you started your next big project, whatever it is, and just told no one, intentionally kept it completely under wraps initially. What could you accomplish with those external pressures, expectations, potential distractions?
And that really is the heart of this whole philosophy we're exploring. It's about the freedom to work on your own terms, the sheer power of letting actions speak louder than words, and just having the wisdom to protect your dreams until they're strong enough, ready to face the world.
So wrapping this up, the key takeaway from this deep dive, drawing on Jim Rohn's ideas, is really this. There's a genuine strategic edge in keeping your plans private, particularly at the start.
Yeah.
It's about guarding your energy, sharpening your focus, and crucially, building and protecting that vital momentum.
Which leads to a really interesting question for you, the listener, to maybe ponder. How might deliberately applying this principle,
Yeah.
Keeping one significant goal or project quiet for a while, how might that change things for you? What surprising results might emerge?
Yeah, maybe just observe yourself. What's your usual tendency around sharing plans, and what have the results been?
It's a powerful bit of self-reflection, really, and maybe, just maybe, a different path to getting things done.
Okay, let's unpack this. You know that feeling, right? That spark. When you get a new idea, a goal you're suddenly buzzing about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your first thought is often, I've got to share this. Tell friends, maybe post it somewhere.
Yeah.
But have you ever stopped to wonder if maybe that impulse, that very urge to share, might actually take the wind out of your sails?
It's a really fascinating paradox, isn't it? This idea that sharing something positive, like our hopes, our plans, could somehow hold us back.
Right.
So today, we're really diving deep into this concept, the potential power, of keeping your plans a bit closer to your chest.
Yep.
It's a perspective that Jim Rohn really brought into focus.
Exactly. We've been looking at his video, I think it's called Never Tell People What You Do. And it genuinely got me thinking about the psychology behind it all.
Yeah, me too.
Why do we share? Is that immediate broadcast always helping us?
And that's why this is so relevant for you listening right now. Maybe you're dreaming up a new business or starting a personal growth